We're back at a racetrack again. What is it, round 3? Yeah. We're gonna do some racing today. We're all set up. So this is our A bike today. Basically we're using the 1998 motor. That one's got a 96 motor, different carb, a little bit different cylinder and stuff. For those of you who aren't aware, these are a Honda RS125. If you haven't seen any of these videos before, but we got a couple of these Honda RS125 GP bikes. This is basically Moto 3 before there was Moto 3. So they're all 2-stroke. 125cc, they make about 40 horsepower, give or take. And we got some trick bits on it, but they weren't ever sold for the road. They were only sold for racing. So and they're a little bit rare, so you have to really search. But we're playing with an old one today too. This is probably late 80s. I'm not really sure. A friend brought it up and said, let's try and get it going. So we're gonna let's have a look at some differences on these things. So on these early ones, what they call an NF4, so your late 80s, early 90s RS125s, they've got your conventional style fork, older Nissan style brake caliper, and I mean this is peak technology for the age. They changed some stuff, but not everything. But old style conventional fork. The shock, probably one of the biggest differences is the shock is mounted up top. There's no linkage or anything, so it's I don't know if I can show you in there. Yeah, so swing arm basically pushes on the back of the shock, and they mount it up top. So on the newer style ones, what they call the NX4, so these are 95-ish to 2004, I think. You've got your newer style fork, no radial calipers until after 2000s, but Brembo caliper and stuff. And you've got the more conventional now style linkage with shock, so a little bit better damping for especially on the high-speed stuff. But a lot of the stuff is very similar, and so the idea here is that I just put a safe jet in the carb. With the air temp changes and air density changes, we change the amount of fuel that goes into the engine. So I put a safe jet in this because normally when you get these things, they come with a big pack of notes. Well, hopefully they come with a big pack of notes that tell you kind of what range jet is safe, because if you go too small on the jet, it puts too much heat into the cylinder and the piston expands too much and then seizes against the cylinder wall and locks the rear wheel and pitches you into the trees. It's just not a good scene. So we put a safe jet in there. And for some of you, I was at Mont Tremblant in I think 2003 riding one of these. And on the warm-up lap, I cracked this exhaust piece here and then did not start the race. So that was my first big national. But here you go, HRC. Pretty cool. That's it. That's it all back together. It did start. It's got a lot of like mid-throttle. It's got a lot of mid-throttle bog that I'm not really going to have time to iron out too much, but I think so I guess the story with that is that his dad had it in Quebec, or sorry, in Ontario, and he passed away, and so he wants to do at least a couple laps on it for old time's sake. So so we're gonna make a lap with it anyway, and we're circulating out there. So our session's up in probably a couple minutes, so I got to get this warmed up, and we'll be headed out here shortly. back in after that session, and we're doing a test. I dropped the fork tubes a little bit to lower the front end, just to see if we can maybe get a little bit more weight on the front. And actually, you know, she says steers turns in better, so we're happy with the change we made. It's quite a big change, as you can see. Like, we've got those ones, this different clamps and everything on this one, but that one's up quite a ways. We drop them down a lot, and typically what that'll do is, you know, help you turn in a little bit better. Makes it a little bit more frantic, so sometimes you have to compensate with a bit more steering damper because it makes it a little bit twitchy. But happy with the turn in. She was going fast this morning, so another one up here in maybe 20 minutes. Well, it's gone. Quick turnaround, it's back out. Well, Steph's back out. But the old, I guess we think it's probably a 91. Went around and ran. He only did 2 or 3 laps on it. I guess 2 flying laps on it. But man, what a cool thing to be involved in. I know it's only a couple laps and we just kind of like learned about it last minute, but to get it going for Corey, who you know, lost his dad, and that was his dad's bike. So that's it's emotional. Hard not to well up watching them, because I know it means a lot to those guys, and just so happy to be involved and being able to at least make it run and let him do a couple laps. He said it was geared really tall and it's not set up for this track at all, but just to do a couple of laps on, you know, a bike that means a lot to him, that's pretty awesome. So. All the heat races and everything are done. We're ready to start. Middle of the first row. It's go time. We're lined up on the middle of the first row. Got more people coming. Courtney crashed in turn 3, tucked the front, I believe. She was up and okay though. I guess that technically gives us a win, but it's not the way we wanted to get it. So we'll move on to the next one. This is the Thunder race. Got some fast dudes in this one. Well, they red flagged that one too, and I didn't catch any of it because things were getting pretty crazy. It was right behind us going into turn 2. Our good friend Will was involved in an incident, but he's up and around, so that's fine. We're just restarting here, so let's we'll grid them back up. Back on the front row again. Same grid as before. We're down to 6 laps. It actually started raining in there, but it dried up real quick, so we're back to a dry surface. Need another good start. That was a crazy day of racing. I think both of our races were red flagged, so we were scrambling all day. but we wound up getting first in the women's race, and then ended up P4 in the Thunder race. After the red flag came out, we restarted and went back out and did P4. But crazy day of racing. Everybody was going fast. A couple people went down, but I think everyone's going to be just fine. So yeah, that was a crazy one, and we're quick turnaround. We're back a couple of days, and we're off to the track again this weekend for the Canadian Superbike National, which we've got an invitational race. So we'll try and post an update from that one too. But thanks for watching.